It's the MX2 GP of Lyon, and boy, what a weekend we've got in store for you, because the tension here this weekend is unbearable. The hype surrounding this final round is at an all-time high, because Jeffrey Herlings is back. He is here. He didn't do a lot yesterday, and you'll see from qualifying how dominant his teammate was, Jordi Tixier, yesterday afternoon. We'll talk more about that in just a moment, but 23 points is all that separates the lead two riders. Jeffrey Herlings still has the red plate. Jordi Tixier wants it. And we are hopefully in for a real treat. There might even be a little bit of weather this afternoon as well, just to make things even more interesting if the title hasn't already been decided in Moto number 1, which is a massive possibility. Well, the track here itself is relatively flat in terms of elevation, although we are at altitude and we are just over 1,800 meters high. So the bike's running a little bit slower than normal. Some of these jumps are more of a stretch than they otherwise would have been if we were a little bit lower down the mountains, but it all makes for what should be an interesting finale to the MX2 Motocross World Championship. This is where we are, pretty much central Mexico, but it's the first time we've been here, although we did have a Grand Prix in Mexico 2 years ago in 2012, just outside of Guadalajara. So we've got a good crowd here today as well. But before we go any further, let's take a quick look behind the scenes and hear what Jeffrey Herlings and Jordi Tixier have to say coming into this weekend.
Red Bull KTM find themselves in a rather prickly situation this weekend, because they have two riders vying for the exact same title. Jordi Tixier over the last few Grand Prix has narrowed the points gap from 145 to 23, and I'm off to meet him now. Jordi, a little help please. Thank you. Jordi, how have you felt over the last few weeks?
You know, the last weekend I had the really bad news about my brother. He crashed really hard in a bicycle, and you know, for the moment he don't feel the legs anymore. So the week was quite long for me. So this weekend I'm gonna ride for him, and we'll see what happens.
That's a lot to have on your plate, and then I guess the added pressure you weren't expecting. How have you coped with all of that?
You know, last weekend my mother didn't tell me what happened, because she didn't want to tell me before the race. So this week I just tried to call him every time to know how is it, and you know, he just have already some feeling a little bit in the legs and in the feet. So we will see what happens the next few weeks. But this weekend I'm just gonna be my best, and I don't care about the championship anymore. So if I finish third or second, it's really good for me, and I'm just gonna make a really good race for him and go back home and be with him.
Jeffrey, you've arrived here in Mexico literally at the last opportunity. Tell me how difficult the recovery process was.
I mean, you know, to come back from a broken femur, it's really difficult. It's been only 7.5 weeks ago, and normally it takes more than 3 months to get recovered. So I'm really not in the best shape, and I still have some pain with riding, and I could do only 1 or 2 practices. But just here to get as most points as I can, and maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, I don't know. So just hope to get some points, and hopefully it's enough for the championship.
Were you concerned when you arrived here that you weren't going to be given the all clear by the doctor?
I mean, I went to the doctors, of course, in Belgium, and 2 doctors said I was okay to race, so I was pretty convinced it would be okay, and luckily they gave me the okay this morning, so happy to be racing.
What are you going to do this weekend?
I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it will be crazy tomorrow and a lot of pressure, but I can just do my best, and we'll see whatever happens.
I'm trying to do my best for both of them. You know, I want that both of them can do their maximum of result, what they can do, and may the best win. Hopefully this will be a very sportive race. It's an awkward situation really much, and I give my best advices to Jordi and I give my best advices to Jeffrey, and on the track it's up to them to decide who will be eventually the winner.
Well, this morning in warm-up, Jeffrey Hurlings started to put in a few faster laps than yesterday, but wasn't all plain sailing for him. Lost the front in a slow corner. Fortunately for him, it was his right side, but you see how hard he went down. But that's possibly his first crash since he came back to riding. And see some of the problems he's going to face if he does go down. I went and spoke to him after that when he got back to the pit lane area, and he said he was okay. Fortunately, it was on the right side. But Amy Dargan is down on the grid. Here she is.
Well, against all the odds, Jeffrey Hurlings has made it to here in Mexico. As you've seen in that clip just there, he has had a crash during warm-up. So we're still unsure what's going to happen out here on track in MX2 Race 1. But we're going to come to the other protagonists in this MX2 showdown. Jordi Tixier, how are you feeling ahead of this race?
You know, I just feel really good. Yesterday was a really good race for me, and this morning also the feeling on the track is really good. But you know, like I said many times this weekend, I don't care about the championship. I'm just gonna give my best and ride for my brother. And I love you, buddy.
Thanks, Jordi. Best of luck with your race. I tell you what, we'll hop down a couple of bikes, and if we can, we'll also have a word with Thomas. Okay, we won't have a word with Thomas, but we will take a look at the championship standings.
Championship looks like this, and Jeffrey Hurlings on 5.94, Jordi Tixier 5.71. The gap between them, 23 points. Romain Febvre has a mathematical chance of getting into second. He's 37 points behind Jordi Tixier, but it's looking, I won't say unlikely, but it's going to be a big ask. Dylan Ferrandis is 23 points behind Romain Febvre, so again, that third place shootout is still not done and dusted. And same with Geiser, he currently sits in 5th position at the moment on the Garibaldi Honda. And he's only 24 off of Ferrandis in 4th place, so he could also find himself maybe shifting up a position. There's the circuit, just over 15, well, just under 1,600 meters long, to be precise. Generally flat in its nature, but some big jumps out there. And Jeffrey Hurlings, number 84, the defending champion, is going to be right on the outside gate after not finishing in the qualifying race yesterday afternoon, which we will see highlights of in just a few moments' time. But it's going to be interesting as well to see which one of these two guys, where their allies lie in terms of who might help who out. And of course, it's very typical that that might happen. Friends of other riders and that kind of thing, but at the same time it might be that all riders just tend to steer clear of the battle. But let's not rule out the hard-charging Tim Geiser, who was victorious in the second moto last week, Romain Febvre, a Grand Prix winner a week ago in the state of Goiás. Dylan Ferrandis, a race winner already this year. He was good yesterday in the qualifying race, and of course he would love to round out. There he is, the 122 on the CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy. He would love to round out 2014 with a win, and he would love to do it here at the final round as well. He looks pretty relaxed, doesn't he, Dylan Ferrandis? But there's some nervous faces out there, particularly in the KTM camp. Valentina Rania, the coordinator there, just in the background. She tweeted, this is when she doesn't really like her job, because obviously she's in a position between Tixier and Hurlings, and trying to manage that is going to be very difficult this weekend indeed. Well, here's what happened in qualifying yesterday. Jeffrey Hurlings limped his way to his start gate, all the way over on the right-hand side. It's about 85 meters into the first corner to the Fox whole shot line. And in time training, it was Jordi Tixier who was fastest. Febvre was second. Ferrandis third, Koldenhoff and Anstey. But in the qualifying race itself, on board with Geiser through the first corner. Guillaume on the standing construct KTM ran wide, paid the price because turn 2, Jordi Tixier blasted by and was in the lead. The two CLS Monster Energy Kawasaki's, Covington third and Ferrandis fourth, but not for long. He found a way past his American teammate as Romain Febvre here on the Wilbo Nastar and Patrick Escavana went past. It was Koldenhoff on the right-hand side to get himself into 5th place. On board here with Julian Lee, but the second of the standing construct KTMs, as Geiser went past Boutron And you see the riders as they spread out, but Tixier, he was in no mood for messing around. Koldenhoff made a good start, Fevre, and there was Jeffrey Hurlings. It looked at times yesterday, he did a couple of laps in time training and a couple of laps in the qualifying race. Looked like he was running a bike in to all intents and purposes. And right on cue, on lap 3, the defending champion was out. Tixier got his head down, wasn't breaking free of the number 92 of Guyot and Ferrandis and Covington, but this was an interesting battle for 5th place. See how frustrated Romain Fevre was there, being passed right at the end of the straight by the 259 Rockstar Energy Suzuki of Glenn Koldenhoff. And that battle would go on just a little bit longer as well before the Frenchman would eventually find his way around the outside and get himself back up towards the front end. Made that pass to go to 5th. Then he set about Covington, put the squeeze on him coming into this tight right, 2 corners from the finish line. That put him into 4th place. As the Husky boys looked on, he then went after Valentin Guyot. Made light work of the Swiss rider as well. Over on the far side of the circuit, Jordi Tixier unchallenged. And to be perfectly honest, looking very cool, calm and collected in qualifying. Nothing bothering the young French former European 125 champ. Just got his head down and for once just worrying about what he has to do. Rockstar Energy Suzuki boys urging on Jeremy Seewer and Koldenhoff. Koldenhoff, though, with 2 laps to go, fell from 6th and would come home in eventual 12th place. Jeremy Seewer would finish in 8th place at the expense of his teammate, so he moved up the place with 2 laps to go. But as close as he got, Fevre could not find a way past Ferrandis, but it was Tixier who went on to win in the qualifier. And Jordi Tixier's qualifying race win, that was the first of the season for him, and what a great time to do it. Ferrandis 2nd, Fevre 3rd, and it was Guyot, Covington, his best of the year. Onatonis, Tonkov and Jeremy Seewer, your top 8. This is how the guys will line up, of course, then Geiser, Lieber, Charlier, Koldenhoff 12th, Boutron, K. Yamamoto, Anton Lundgren. Then all the local guys. Max Anstey, he dropped out of 12th place with what turned out to be a blown rear shock. Overjumped, landed very, very heavily. Said the shock was a bit springy. After that, didn't want to take any risks and decided that safety was the better part of valor. And he came in and, well, Jeffrey Hurlings pulled out a couple of laps before him. So those two probably going to be on the far side of the gate. Well, what's going on through that guy's mind, Jordi Tixier? What about Dirk Grubel, chief technical coordinator down there? Riders making their way, but you can already see Tixier taking over gate 1 right over on the far side. Alongside him, Dylan Ferrandis on the CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy machine. He's up for it. Romain Fevre definitely up for it. Fevre, one of the fastest guys on track yesterday, although it was Tixier on the 2nd lap with the fastest lap in that qualifier. But with his Grand Prix victory behind him a week ago, Romain Fevre will be coming here, arriving here in confident mood. There's Guyot, 92, on the standing construct, but all eyes surely are going to be focused on the battle between Jordi Tixier, who messed his starts up, something chronic a week ago in Goyas. He rocked it out of the start yesterday. Well, there's a rider, a person no stranger to winning world titles, Stefan Everts, of course. And Jeffrey Hurlings takes his place amongst Kei Yamamoto and one of the local guys, and that was Alexei Gaza. The Monster Energy 15-second board is hoisted up into the air. Jeffrey Hurlings, the defending champion, back after his broken femur. Stefan Everts down there in pit lane looking to switch channels to see exactly what images he's going to be watching during the race. But Jordi Tixier right on the right-hand side. The board turns to 5. Showtime, folks. MX2 race 1 here in Lyon, and it wasn't a great jump from Tixier, but he's going to out-drag the Husqvarna of Romain Fevre. 3 abreast, Boutron, Fevre and Tixier as they cross the stripe and the Foxhole shot line. Coming through the 2nd corner, it's Fevre who grabs the lead, Tixier 2nd. Hurlings right there, mid-pack look, just ahead of one of the Suzukis. It might have been, oh, and somebody falls right in front of Hurlings. He was very lucky to be able to steer clear of that, but working their way down the long straight for the first time over the big 28-meter double jump. Everybody pretty much safely over there. Hurlings though, number 84 just here. Not finding the distance. Anstey right the way back there as well. So not a good start for the Brit on the bike it costs with Yamaha. But it's Fevre, Tixier, Liebe, Boutron, Charlier, your top 5. Then Guillot, Ferrandis, Yamamoto, Tonus, and Tixier making a move on Fevre. A little bit of water gone out on the track there. So coming through these 12s, up and down the dragon back and continuing through turns 7 and 8. Very, very slippery indeed. Of course, there are a load of connotations in terms of what Hurlings needs to do to be champion, what Tixier needs to do to be champion. But as the race goes on and these guys settle down and find their feet, get into position, then we can start working it out, doing the maths. But Romain Fevre there in second position, just behind 911, Jordi Tixier, who you may have heard him at the start of the program. His brother was involved in a car crash, in a bicycle accident a week ago, and he's riding for him this weekend. He's still in hospital. And apparently Tonkov crashing over on the far side through turns 2 and 3 in front of Hurlings. And of course, he went down last week and he's damaged the meniscus in his knee. So he'll be looking to at least pick himself up and rejoin the race. Didn't see the crash too clearly, but down past pit lane to come over the line for the first time. Jordi Tixier doing what he did yesterday in the qualifying race, trying to get his head down and getting gone. Fevre second, Liebe third, Boutron fourth, Ferrandis, Guillot, Tonus, Charlier, Geiser, Yamamoto, Siwa, Hurlings in 12th, Koldenhoff, Anstey, Lundgren, Tonkov in 16th place. And then Edgar Tovar, Alexi Garza, Alejandro Ruggiero and Axel Blanco. Keeping a very watchful eye on Jeffrey Hurlings. Of course, he didn't do a lot yesterday. Well, he just did the bare minimum. A couple of laps in free practice, a couple of laps in time training. Sorry, didn't even go out in free practice, 2 laps in time training. And then in the qualifier, decided to just circulate, as you saw from the qualifying highlights clip. But Max Anstey there with Koldenhoff, just finding a way past the Suzuki rider, up and over the Dragon's back. Oh, Covington. Well, if there was a guy that ever needed any luck, and I'm sure he might have been one of the guys that went down with Tonkov on that first lap as well, possibly. So there's Tonus going through. Tonus in 7th position behind fellow countrymen as we go back to the front here. And Jordi Tixier now under the pressure from 461. Oh, getting over that. Not too many 250s getting over that. Julian Liebe, he's not scared on the standing construct KTM. That is a massive jump. It's a stretch on a 450, let alone a 250. But Tixier doesn't want to get involved in any unnecessary confrontation here. It's almost the best thing that could happen for him, though, get himself into a proper race rather than thinking about defending it. And he might even let Romain Fevre go through, you know. But over the little double jump, the big tabletop just prior to the final corner. And it's Tixier. He continues to lead here. Romain Fevre second. Hurlings practice mechanic there, Ruben looking on rather nervously, as are all of the crew down there. Difficult one for them to call this weekend because both guys are worthy of becoming world champion. As Jeremy Van Hoorbeek said in the press conference yesterday after the qualifying race, he said, look, at the end of the day, you've got to be in it to win it, and injuries are part of our sport, and the guy with the most points, effectively, will be crowned world champion. Oh, and Fevre goes down. Fevre just loses the front end, or did he manage to save it? No, he saved it. What a rescue that was from 461, Romain Fevre. And Julian Liebe, though, has closed in. The little Belgian there on the standing construct KTM. Ferrandis fourth. There's Boutron on the Silver Action KTM, number 17, fifth. In the green of Tonus in 6th place. Then Guillot. Then Geiser. Then Charlier. Jeremy Seward just a little bit further back. This Dragon's back, very, very interesting because different ways to get up and over the top, and therefore different ways to get down the other side as well. But Ferrandis looking for a way past the number 33, Julian Liebe. He's currently in 4th position, the 122 CLS Kawasaki rider there in green. The ground, very strange here, hard and slick, almost like Geldorf in Germany in parts, a little bit soft and loamy in others, a little bit of wood chip down as well. But Liebe not launching over the triple this time around. As they disappear around the far side of the circuit. Hurlings down in 13th place, just behind Max Anstey. And if it stays like this, Jeffrey Hurlings would be on 6:02, and Tixier would be on 5:96. So a difference of, 6 points coming into the second moto. Fevre still challenging, Jordi Tixier being urged on by his mechanic. down there in pit lane. Lap times this time around. Tixier, fastest man on track, and then just 1/10 behind him, Romain Febvre. It's Lieber and Ferrandis keeping them right in their sights, just dropping off the radar a little bit, but this was a corner where Febvre, a lap ago, almost went down. Looks like Herlings might have found his way past. No, he's dropped down to 15th position now. So Herlings really starting to struggle, really starting to feel the pain in that broken left femur. Of course, we've got cameras down there in the Red Bull KTM garage, waiting the concluding part of this MX2 World Championship. The first 4 guys pretty much line astern, getting closer as well, as Tixier seems to be holding up Romain Febvre. There's a nervous Stefan Everts looking on. Febvre there second. Lieber, the number 33 orange KTM in the background in blue, is in 3rd place. Ferrandis still in 4th, and he was the fastest man on track that time around. Just 2 seconds separating the top 4 guys after 2 laps. Arnotonis about 4 seconds further back in 5th. Boutron in 6th, then Guyot, Charlier, Geiser and Jeremy Seewer. Then it's Anstey 11th, Kei Yamamoto 12th, Koldenhoff 13th, Tonkov is 14th. Herlings now being pushed back to 15th position. But this is going to be a testing time for Jordi Tixier, and he cannot do any more than he's already doing. He started well yesterday with a win in the qualifying race. He's replicated that today so far with a whole shot in this first MX2 race in the season finale here at the MXGP of Leon in Mexico. And all of a sudden, he just finds the fastest lap of the race, a 1:49.3. And he puts himself more than a second clear of Romain Febvre, so maybe just weathering the storm a little bit, just starting to get his head down and focus. Julian Lieber having another good ride in 3rd position. Ferrandis there all over the back of him in 4th position. And Ferrandis was on the podium a week ago in Goiás. He was on the Belgium as well in Belgium at Lommel the week before, well, 5 weeks before that. But with 22 minutes to go, plus 2 laps, it's Jordi Tixier leading the way. Febvre is 2nd, Lieber 3rd, Ferrandis 4th, Tonis 5th. Herlings currently down in 16th. Dylan Ferrandis still in hot pursuit of the number 33, Julian Lieber. That's the battle for 3rd place. The back end getting a little bit loose there, but some big old jumps out on this circuit here. Jeffrey Herlings obviously not being on a bike, apart from this week, where I'm told he did 3 20-minute motos and 2 30-minute motos on Tuesday and Wednesday. That came from Stefan Everts. So he's obviously been banging out the laps, but I'm guessing one of the other problems that he might be associating here, having not ridden the bike and suddenly finding himself in the heat of the competition for the first time in a very long time since Finland. Arm pump, hard track, fast, high speed. And having to deal with that as well. Trying to ride maybe just a little bit too cautiously. Maybe saving himself for the second moto. Who knows how much pain is Herlings actually going through. By rights, he shouldn't even be on a bike. You saw from the shots at the start of the program where he got out of the car, was limping badly to the medical center just to get the all clear from the doctors. Here's Tonkov, and he is in a battle with Koldenhoff. In fact, he's found a way past, so Tonkov now up into 14th place. Koldenhoff being dropped to 14th. Tonkov up into 13th as he comes over the Monster Energy finish line now, but it's still Tixier leading the way. Febvre 2nd, Lieber 3rd, Ferrandis 4th. Here are your lead 4 riders. Dropping into turn 5. Tonis is in 5th place, about 5 seconds further back of his teammate, Ferrandis. Then we've got Geiser on the Garibaldi Honda in 6th, Guyot in 7th, standing construct KTM. The Yamaha factory machine of Christophe Charlier is in 8th position. 9th now is Max Anstey, so he started to climb up the leaderboard and he's about a second behind fellow Yamaha rider Christophe Charlier. And Boutron on the Silver Action KTM being pushed back into 10th. Kei Yamamoto having one of his best rides of the year so far. He's in 11th. Alexander Tonkov is now 12th. Koldenhoff 13th. Seewer 14th. Lundgren is 15th. And then Herlings is in 16th position. And that means now the championship lead is down to 5 points. Herlings still leads away on 5.99. sorry, it's less than that. It's 3 points because Hurling's on 5.99 and Tixier on 5.96. So Tixier could do with leading and winning this first race. Otherwise, if Febvre finds a way through, he takes away 3 valuable, potentially valuable World Championship points from the Frenchman, Jordi Tixier. Who knows, by the second moto, that might have consequences. Here's the 243, Tim Geiser. How polished those jump faces are. We are mainly due a little bit of rain this afternoon, at around about 2-3 o'clock. You only have to see by the nature of the hard takeoffs and the hard slick landings, look what that could do possibly to the track and how some of the ruts are out there as well. So it'll be very, very sticky. The ground hard like clay here. Guillaume going through now in 7th, so Geiser 6th. Waiting to pick up our leaders. Here he is, Jordi Tixier, Romain Febvre, Julien Lieber and Dylan Ferrandis, pretty much equidistant as they drop into turn 5. Up and over the big step up, at 20 metres point to point on that one. You get over that second step there. Ferrandis was brilliant through there yesterday. He was able to then double over the top look as he got better drive, then wheeled over the next one and then doubled in. So a completely different combination there for Dylan Ferrandis, as he looks to close back in on Julien Lieber. Tixier, though, cannot afford any mistakes. Romain Febvre will apply the pressure. Not sure what their friendship is like. Both coming from France, of course, but as I said at the start of the broadcast, it'll be interesting to see where the allegiances are for the riders. Who helps who out, moves over and moves aside and lets them just pick up the points. But with Hurling's down in 16th position. Oh! Seat bounce and almost through the front door there, Tixier. Just saw from the body language and the angle of the bike, if he was half a bike length shorter, that would have been curtains for the Frenchman. Just goes to show, even with 17 minutes plus 2, Tixier cannot afford to shut off. He has to maintain his focus, as the board says there. But over the line now, 6 laps complete. That gap still just over a second between him and Febvre, as you see, as they go just under the foxhole shot board there. The first 4 guys separated by less than 3 seconds. Tixier, Febvre, Lieber and Ferrandis. Tonus now about 6 seconds further back. Geiser still there in 6th. Guillaume 7th. Charlier still 8th. Max Anstey still 9th. And Boutron should come over the line any minute now. And does so in 10th, but he's got Tonkov for close company now, who's moved himself up into 11th after that crash on going into turn 3 on the opening lap. There's Lundgren and there's Hurlings. Hurlings just going past through turn 1. So Hurlings could still possibly pick up another point here in the fight for the championship. Not sure the last time we had such a close finish in the MX2 category, because Hurlings dominated last year. He wrapped it up with a round to go in 2012. They can't look, can they? Down there on pit lane, down at KTM. Massive heart this kid has got, Jeffrey Hurlings. Love him or hate him, you cannot deny the effort required to ride a motorcycle anyway. To do it with a broken femur that's barely healed. Okay, he's got a piece of metalwork in there, just holding everything together, but his leg is so weak, his fitness is down. And as I said before, really probably shouldn't be riding at the risk of further injury, but you can't give up the title chase without a fight, and that's exactly what he's doing here. He's shown he's prepared to fight. Of course, there'll be some there saying that if it does go Tixier's way, then probably shouldn't deserve it because of the amount of race wins and overall wins that Jeffrey Hurlings has had. But as I said again, Jeremy Van Horby in the press conference yesterday after qualifying just said, you know, our sport is a tough sport. Injuries are part of it. The one with the most points at the end of the championship campaign will be crowned world champion. There's some serious nail biting gone on there on those fingers. But Hurlings, what are his lap times here? 1:54.1 compared to the 1:49.9 of Tixier. He is currently, wait for him to come over the line in a few turns' time. There's Lundgren over the line. Hurling's over the line now. He's 39.9 seconds down on Jordi Tixier, the race leader, as we look at this battle for third place. Julian Lieber in blue, number 33, just losing his footing there as he went through the waves on the corner into turn 8. Dylan Ferrandis is close back right up on the rear wheel of the standing construct KTM. So the CLS Kawasaki in green hasn't given up the chance of possibly at least getting a third place finish in this moto here. Of course, he would love to try and close down fellow countrymen, both of them, Febvre and Tixier, who currently lead the race here. The Red Bull KTM and the Wilbo Nastan factory Husqvarna. Still pretty tight, just over 3 seconds separating the first 4 as they drop into the final few corners right at the finish line. Tabletop there, skying the riders yesterday. It's double just a little bit easier. Dropping into the final corner. It's only 3 points to separate Hurling from Tixier in the MX2 title race with 13.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Romain Febvre suddenly sets the fastest lap of the race and is less than 3/4 of a second behind Tixier as they come through turn 2 here. And right up the inside there, back marker moving out of the way. So suddenly, game on here. Febvre just taking another bite of the cherry. There's Thomas Covington, he's in 17th position. But on the left here, in white, Romain Febvre looking to upset Jordi Tixier possibly in this first race by trying to steal another 3 points off of the 911 Red Bull KTM. Neatly done over there, but no one as clean as Ferrandis over the top of the Dragon's back. Oh, losing the front again there, Febvre. Jeffrey Hurlings, where is he? Still in 16th position. Koldenhoff just ahead of him. So Koldenhoff on the Rockstar Energy Suzuki down in 15th place, either not gelling with the circuit or maybe just riding with some kind of problem here, or maybe just dropping back to help his old buddy out. Replay of the start coming up. Not the best reaction from 911. Jordi Tixier was a little bit of bar-to-bar action with Ferrandis, but he eventually got squeezed there, the Frenchman. But over the line, difficult to say from here who it was, but Tixier, Ferrandis and Boutron as they cross the line, pretty much line astern and 3 apart, three abreast. Looks like the sun just making a bit of an appearance here, and when it does come out, actually warms up very, very quickly. Over 11.5 minutes to go. Tixier doing a great job. He has risen to the occasion. He has performed to the pressure that's, or has responded to the pressure that's been thrown at him since Hurlings has been out. He's picked up a race win, he's picked up an overall Grand Prix win, and here he is leading a race here in Lyon. But Tixier, Febvre, Lieber, Ferrandis and Tonus, that's how it is with just over 11 to go. And Hurlings still down there in 16th. With 11 minutes to go, plus 2, Jeffrey Hurlings has Glenn Koldenhoff and Anton Lundgren right in his sights. So there's a possibility here to claw back another couple of positions in the remaining part of this race. But his teammate, meanwhile, getting a little bit loose over the Ippon tabletop before he switches back to make his route back towards the start area. He's got very close company with Romain Febvre. These two now distancing themselves from Julian Lieber and Dylan Ferrandis. Febvre looking menacing, turning his head away to avoid the pebble stone-like roost off the back of that KTM. Tixier having to follow Lieber. Takes a slightly tighter line, pays the price coming out, not as clean. Both riders popping the little double from the inside. Lieber, a great little race from him. Julian Lieber, 12th in the championship at the moment, got a 6th and an 11th last week in Goyas, but Ferrandis goes through. Nice move from Ferrandis. Got it done right at the end of the straight, ran alongside him. And Ferrandis now goes through into 3rd place. So a mistake from Lieber, just ran it a little bit wide, didn't get the drive, lost the back end, and then couldn't get the double, but still tried to respond here, got the power down early, but it wasn't until this point here. Tixier. Nothing more than trying to pick up 25 points, I'm sure, is going through his mind at the moment. Get this race out of the way, then maybe start to think about the championship. I'm sure his mechanics are telling him where Hurlings is. Poker face there of Stefan Everts down there in pit lane. Not wanting to give away anything. Of course, KTM, I'm sure, will be happy with either one of these two picking up the world crown. But rumoured to be moving teams next year, Jordi Tixier. If that's the case, the #1 plate, if he chooses to use it, will be on another machine, unless there's been some behind-the-scenes talks that we're unaware of, that if he wins the title, for instance, Jordi Tixier, will he be staying at KTM? Who knows? But you cannot deny the effort, as I've said. You've got to take your hat off to Jeffrey Hurlings here, number 84. It's clear he's not going to win the Grand Prix this weekend. And that'll be the first time since Teushenthal, the final round of 2012, which was won by Tommy Searle. Double moto win that day. Getting hot at the front of the field, though. Tixier and Fevre. Fevre, will he look to try and square off coming into the final corner? Slightly different run in, but just the one line going in and out. Having another go. Maybe at the end of the start straight here for Romain Fevre. Again, denied. Tixier defending the inside. But going to work now, Romain Fevre. Oh, loose the front and the back going into turn 2. Keeping it upright. Shows how hard he's working, though. At 461, Romain Fevre. This is a battle for the lead. Tixier just taking a look across to the left to see where Ferrandis and Lieber are. Well, they're nearly 6 seconds down on the lead 2 here. 7.5 minutes to go. Talk about a season finale, a climatic one at that. Jeffrey Hurlings still in 16th position. We're waiting for him and Lundgren to come over the line, and Koldenhoff. So, Koldenhoff behind Kei Yamamoto. Still waiting for the Rockstar Energy Suzuki to come through in 14th position, and then it goes through now. And then it should be Lundgren and then Hurlings, unless Hurlings has found a way through. He looked to be closing in, but he's still down there in 16th position, Jeffrey Hurlings, on the second of the Red Bull KTMs in the race. The first one, of course, Jordi Tixier's teammate, going for his first MX2 world title. Again, putting a little bit of distance between himself and Romain Fevre on this 12th lap. Six and a half to go. Lieber in 4th, Tonus in 5th, Geiser in 6th, about a second and a half behind the Swiss rider. Back markers coming into play now at the end of this 12th lap. And Jordi Tixier, the first to arrive, but they go inside, the back marker goes wide. Pass, you are faster, is the signal from Fevre's crew as they cross the line to complete lap 12. To start lap 13, Ferrandis still 5.3 down in 3rd. Lieber about 2.5 seconds further back in 4th. Tonus, Geiser and Guillot all over the line now, 5th, 6th and 7th. And it should be Charlier, Anstey and Tonkov rounding out the top 10. Championship as it stands right now, Jeffrey Hurlings on 5.99, Jordi Tixier here, 9.11. His teammate is just 3 points further back because of the 25 points that he currently holds in his hands for leading this race at present. Jeffrey Hurlings in 16th, just picking up 5 World Championship points. If you're watching for the first time, of course, the point situation is 25 for a win, 22 for second, 20 for third, then 18, 16, 15, 14, single digits right the way down to 20th. Jeffrey Hurlings on 5 World Championship points in 16th position at the moment. Interesting little battle here. Tonus, Geiser and Guillot battling over 5th place. Tonus looking like he's doing everything right, holding all the tight lines, making the likes of Geiser on that Garibaldi Honda, the red bike, the one in the middle, making him go all the way round, and or maybe just getting him to follow him. But it's Guillot pulled a whole shot yesterday in the qualifying race, but it was Tixier who found a way through around the outside of him, going into turn 2, out of turn 2 and into turn 3. Febvre has got that gap down to 0.6 of a second. At the start of that previous lap, we saw that, and Febvre not going anywhere. He won a Grand Prix last week, and he wants more as he looks to cement his 3rd place in the championship. A win and a 3rd last week to give him the overall victory in Goiás. He was so strong. There's a gap between Febvre and Ferrandis. Well, it was 23 points coming into this race. That would go out to 25. So then it comes down to race wins and positions after that if there was a tie. So still not a done deal yet for Romain Febvre. He's got one hand on that 3rd place. Of course, if he finds a way past Jordi Tixier, of course, that will give him 3rd place guaranteed in the championship. Oh, Valentin Guyot, how loose do you want that backhand, boy? Going after Guyot, Guyot going after Tonus. Just here, 200. As you can see, different ways of getting up and over the Dragon's back. Tonus soaking it all up. But a replay of Valentin Guyot, the mistake a moment ago as he came out of turn 4, the fast sweeping right-hander heading out towards the first major jump out on track. But let's just keep our eyes focused on this battle here. Valentin Guyot. Right, here we go. Let's see what happened. Backhand just hit a slick patch and a hole and then bounced back. He was able to manage the situation well, though. He's still there fighting in 7th. Here's his teammate, the 33 of Julian Lieber. Suddenly we've got a 4-way going on here for 4th now, because Lieber, Tonus, Geiser and Guyot right within striking distance of each other. Guyot bringing it up at the back. So the 2 standing construct guys sandwiching the CLS Kawasaki of number 200, Tonus, and the Garibaldi Honda of Tim Geiser between them in 5th and 6th place. But once again, Febvre, half a second in it as they came over the line, and he's desperate now to find a way through with just over 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Tixier knows every point is going to count. Herlings now, well, he's more than 20 seconds down on Anton Lundgren, so he's going to be settling for 16th position. And we are going to have a bit of a showdown all week for the 2nd moto. But it ain't wrapped up yet until it's over, folks, that's for sure. Tixier, he has managed this situation in the highest professional manner. Just got his head down. He's been to confidence school in the last week or so. But riding for his brother as well, who was involved in an accident last week. Parents didn't tell him a week ago, didn't want to upset him, didn't want to take his focus off, but they've had to tell him this week. And so he said yesterday, you know, he was riding for his brother. Here's his teammate, Jeffrey Herlings, up on the pegs. His lap times last time around, a 2:10 compared to the 1:50. So 20 seconds down at this stage of the race per lap. And his teammate Jordi Tixier. That is going to be a big ask, even for Jeffrey Herlings, to try and slip, knock some time off of that in the 2nd moto. But Tixier here, still not done with Romain Febvre. It's going to be 3 laps to go because the finish line 2 corners away, and there's still more than 40 seconds on the clock. Look how hard those ruts are, and the backhand's working overtime. Blue flags being done there. Jeffrey Herlings is about to be lapped here by his teammate. That'll be music to the ears, and it'll be great for the sights and sounds of Jordi Tixier. Herlings moves wide, lets the World Championship contender go through as he tries to fend off the challenge from Romain Febvre. Herlings will be praying that Febvre finds a way through and nicks those 3 points away, and almost a mistake there from Febvre again in the same corner. Then he made the mistake earlier on in the race, but once again, he keeps it upright. Herlings now not even jumping the big tabletop. Surely now, he's thinking he's bitten off more than he can chew. But Jordi Tixier, Still a lot of work to do for him. There are only 3 points in it at the moment. Hurling's 5.99, Jordi Tixier 5.96. Tixier leading the way here, 9.11. Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, 4.61. Romain Fevre, Wilvo Nastan, Husqvarna Factory Racing. Separated by less than a second with 2.5 laps to go. And it's been these two guys pretty much the whole moto. Fevre just waiting for a sniff of an opportunity. And look at this battle going on here, tight with Geiser and Lieber being pushed backwards now. So Tonus up in the 4th, Lieber 5th, Geiser and Guyot. Two-lap board being readied for 9.11, Jordi Tixier. Romain Fevre, will there be a last lap opportunity for him to find a way through? There's Lieber coming into the clutches of his teammate in the red helmet, the 92 of Valentin Guyot, so he's held it out there for as long as he could. Julian Lieber just goes to show how important a good start is. Tixier, though, 1.3 seconds clear of Romain Fevre as they came over the line on the penultimate lap. 16 completed in total, and Guyot looking to find a way past the 33. His teammate, Julian Lieber, there. Guyot in 7th, his teammate in 6th. There's Tonus just going through in 4th. 7 seconds down, on, and yeah, Guyot easily in the end. So we've got Tixier leading the way, 1.3 clear of Fevre. Ferrandis is in 3rd, about 6 seconds further back, and then 7 seconds adrift. We've got this battle here, Tonus, the 200 on the green Kawasaki, bottom of the screen, going out of shot. Then the red Honda of Tim Geiser. Then the 2 KTMs of the 92 and the 33 of Valentin Guyot. And Julian Lieber taking us down to 7th place. Christophe Charlier, Yamaha Factory Racing, about 10 seconds further back. And then it's Tonkov in 9th, Jeremy Siwa in 10th, with Boutron in 11th. Anstey waiting for him to come over the line on the bike at Cosworth Yamaha in 12th. Still waiting for Anstey to come through. In fact, Yamamoto goes 12th, Koldenhoff 13th, Anstey dropping down to 14th position. Still waiting for him to come over the line. So I wonder if there's been a problem with Anstey on that lap, as in, has he fallen or has he come and made a trip down pit lane? Well, Lundgren, his teammate, goes through him 14th. So Anstey has a problem. And Charlier goes out as well. So Charlier out of 8th place with a lap and a half to go. Well, this goes to show as well. Jeffrey Hurling's there in 16th place. Could be picking up 2 more points here at the expense of the 2 Yamahas of Christophe Charlier in 8th and Max Anstey. So Anstey going to be out of it as well. Looking at the timing screen as the leaders start to come through once more. Final lap for Jordi Tixier. Fevre now 2.5 seconds clear behind. So maybe just throwing in the towel in this particular race, but we wait for Hurling still to come over the line, because Anstey's still being shown as 15th. Hurlings will circulate, surely pick up that 15th place. There'll be 2 more points for him, so that will be a little bit of respite, but it's still surely going to be too much for Jeffrey Hurlings in the final moto of the year. Hurlings has indeed moved up into 15th place then at the expense of Anstey. And we'll soon find out as well this time around, Christophe Charlier, but Jordi Tixier doesn't know that yet. And Tixier, with a handful of corners left to go around this Leon circuit. Already a 2-time race winner this year, the first one coming in the Czech Republic in Moto number 1 in Lockett, a Grand Prix that he won, of course, with a 4th place in the second moto. 3rd and 1st in Lommel in the deep, deep sand, got him 2nd overall behind Max Anstey, who was the winner that day. But with a couple of corners to go, so far, so good for 911 Red Bull KTM Factory Racing's Jordi Tixier. A quick celebration there to himself as he drops into the final corner. He gets his head down, charges to the line. He knows it ain't over until it's over, but it's a good place to start here. Victory in race 1 for Jordi Tixier, and he narrows the gap to his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings in the fight for the MX2 World Championship title. Roman Febvre comes home in second, 2.5 seconds adrift. Dylan Ferrandis about the same distance back in third. And look how close it was in the end between Tonus and Geiser. Nothing in it, half a second, in fact, between Tonus on the CLS Kawasaki Monster Energy machine, Tim Geiser on the Garibaldi Honda. And then about a second back, it was Valentin Guyot, then Julian Lieber dropped to 7th in the end. We're looking at Jeffrey Hurlings, number 84, the still championship leader. Will he come out fighting in the second race? Yes or no? Has he thrown in the towel already? Well, judging by the body language and the fact that he knows he can still pick up points here, 6 in Moto. In fact, it will be 7 points. He'll get 14th. So that'll be 7 points for Hurlings. Right, Hurlings over the line then. But here's Amy Dargan with Jordi Tixier, our race winner.
Jordi Tixier, you are the winner of race 1. Just how challenging was it there to stay calm and stay focused?
Yeah, you know, it was a perfect race. I get a whole shot, and yeah, I get second, and I pass Roma in the first lap, and then I just try to have a good rhythm, don't make a mistake. That's what I did, and I win the first race of the weekend, and I'm pretty happy for my brother because I did it, and hopefully I can do it in second moto and bring him the trophy.
Well done, Jordi. We'll see you later on for race 2.
Couldn't have asked for a better start to the weekend. Jordi Tixier, he wrapped up the qualifying race, the first of the season yesterday, and he walks away with 25 points, big points in the fight for MX2 and his first world title. So Jordi Tixier then picks up the first race win here in Lyon. Febvre second, Ferrandis third, Tonus fourth, Geiser, Guyot, Lieber and Tonkov. But more importantly, in terms of the championship, Jeffrey Hurlings picking up 7 points for 14th. When Charlier and Anstey dropped out with a couple of laps to go, a lap and a half to go for Charlier. And how vital would they prove in Moto number 2 a little later on this afternoon? From Jordi Tixier's perspective though, he's looking sharp, he's looking in control. And he is 5 points behind Jeffrey Hurlings going into Moto number 2. And we'll look at the graphics right now. Here's how close it is in MX2 with 1 race remaining. Hurlings 6:01, Tixier 5:96, Febvre on 45 back of Tixier. And then Ferrandis there, so that's not quite done yet. It's 25 points, but he just needs a point more now. Romain Febvre to get that 3rd place in the championship. Signed, sealed and delivered. Well, the foxhole shot was very, very tight, but in the end it was Romain Febvre, the Wilvo Nastan Husqvarna factory rider, as he hit the foxhole shot strike first. But Boutron has already won that. He has 9, Hurlings 2nd, Guyot 3rd. There will be presentations a little later on for the foxhole shot winners. And in the manufacturer's chase, KTM have clinched that by considerable margin over Kawasaki. Husqvarna 3rd with Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha and TM in 7th. But what a first race. Good crowd here in Mexico for this MX2 Grand Prix of Lyon, and a little later, of course, MXGP of Lyon. Hospitality suites all over the place. And it's a good atmosphere out there, music pumping around all over the place. But just let's not forget what's at stake here, especially in MX2. Jeffrey Hurlings back off his sickbed, complete with partially healed broken femur. He's got a rod down there. He was complaining of pain in the leg yesterday, but he's been given the all clear, of course, to ride today. But how much pain is going through that leg? and what's he going to offer in race 2. But let's look at some of the ambient moments and best moments so far. Some of the highlights then from race 1 from MX2, and Jordi Tixier taking his 3rd race win of the season, picking up 25 points. Very, very valuable points as well, because how much of a storm did he have to weather then from Romain Febvre? Febvre threw everything at him, wasn't able to find a way through, and in the end, Jordi Tixier was a comfortable winner by more than a couple of seconds over his fellow countryman. But there's another race still to run this afternoon. Another 30 minutes plus 2 laps, of course. The championship is still very much in the balance. Jeffrey Hurlings still leads it by the narrowest of margins of 5 points. How much pain is he in? Who knows? What's going through his head? Not quite sure. But one thing still remains, he still leads the championship, and if Tixier doesn't pick up any points in Moto number 2, then of course Jeffrey Hurlings will still be crowned world champion. But from Tixier's point of view, riding with a lot of emotional charge this weekend, riding for his brother involved in a accident a couple of weeks ago. And the best way to soothe all of that is by picking up those 25 points. He will now surely believe that he is destined to become MX2 world champion in 2014. We'll be back in just a few moments' time with MXGP Race 1.